So here we are. Here's my lovely bike. It's really quite a beautiful. I'm only giving you my opinion. Of course, I think it was beautiful, but maybe not. It's a beautiful bike. It doesn't have clip-ons. When I say clip-ons, for those who are not motorcycle oriented, they're, well, would you know, they are clip-ons. I thought that they were all part of that assembly there. So they're clip-ons and can be slightly adjusted, I guess. But anyway, it's a Yamaha. It's an R15M. Now it's got quite a few really nice things which made it a big choice for me. First of all, it is a really beautiful looking bike, and it has some very nice things that come with it. Now, right, so there's my readout. It's a computer readout. It has, I'll probably have to start the engine for at least a moment. First time, never had any problem with it at all. But if you can look here, you'll see that it says street. It says street, or what's the other gear? It's a bike that you can, if you want to be a wannabe racer, you can use this bike. It's set up obviously with the clip-on type thing, so it's a forward-leaning stance or posture for the rider. It's got ABS brakes. It's fuel injected. It has traction control. Now, the traction control thing is a little bit strange. I'll switch off. Is a little bit strange because when I was in the mountain, you've got to remember that we were in the mountain when I first got this. When I was in the mountain, it was muddy, plus in some of the really bad places where there were deep ditches, they would fill with water. You still got to go through them. This was totally the wrong bike to get for living in the mountain, but we were about to move down here, so in the end we used to have, over by the gate there, we used to have the tool shed and materials storage shed. So I had a little shed built off to the side, which I kept the bike in, and I used to drive down here, and then I'd be on to cement roads instead of the mud, and that would be perfect for this bike. So with the traction control, it was strange. Now I got into the water, and the wheels are all deep in water. Now the thing about the traction control is that if you are riding along the road, this is how I interpret it. If you're riding along the road and you hit a patch of what can I say, of dirt or sand or something like that that's been washed down, then that would be prone for slipping and sliding. But with this, it will not allow it to suddenly start spinning the wheels, which if you lose traction and you don't have the traction control, as soon as you hit something that robs you of traction, then the wheel is going to spin because there's no friction to hold it to the road. Okay, now that won't do it with this bike, but it falls down when you start into water. So if you're riding through water, you've got to be careful. Now, when I was into the ditch, or the little pool of water, I gave it acceleration to get out, but the traction control would not allow that to happen. because there's no friction to hold the tyre to the road, and the tyre would spin. Now, a friend of mine whose opinion I respect very greatly, because he's a lifelong biker without any gaps, and is an experienced, skilled rider. When he heard me say that it was a traction control, he didn't think it was. He said, "No, Terence, you don't want to hear it, but in actual fact it's because you're not a skilled rider yet." Now, at the time, that was a completely reasonable thing to say, so I accepted it. And then I got a message, I got a comment in the comments from a professional truck driver driving a very modern truck on the American roads, on the American highways. And he said, "Actually, I got traction control on my truck and it did the same thing." He said, to the extent that I had to be towed out of the water area, water and mud combined, right? So it's not a matter of if the rain has pooled in a concrete road, then that wouldn't be the same, because you would still have some traction. But he agreed that in fact it wasn't that I was a newbie, even though I won't argue with that. Back then it really took some courage on my part to get this bike and sit behind this huge tank. This is what it looks like when you're on the bike. I'm cocking my leg, if you'll pardon the expression. So there we are. That's the bike. And it is huge. Got to say it's huge. But that's what it looks like. Now, I was, I got to tell you, I was so concerned about what my performance would be when I rode the bike away from the dealership, that I actually thought that I might fall off it straight away. Actually, I did drop the bike on the way home to the mountain, because once again went through the mud and the rain on the way home, and I dropped the bike. So that was my christening. But before that, I actually rode the bike out to Danao, towards Danao, on the Danao Road, which is a beautiful road, not very busy, and lots of gentle curves, uphill, downhill. So a good sort of testing ground for me to get used to the bike. So I went up there, I stopped, started, turned around, went fast, did emergency stops, and all of those things which I'd be required to be familiar with. And it was really very good. So, but back to the bike. As you can see, I got some bags on the back. They're not the right bags for the back. This was another one of those that I went to. I actually ordered the perfect bags, which were not these are like a leather look, but the ones I ordered were a metal look, and would have fit beautifully. With this, I had to order this little doodad here. Even that is not right, but it gives me something to secure the bag to. So it's a hodgepodge, but in the end I decided not to send these bags back, because I thought that I could well end up with no bags, no money, and back to the beginning again. So I kept them, and that's it. Now, Beth doesn't like riding on this bike. As you can see, the saddle is that much for the pillion rider. It's that much higher, and here's where I am, the rider, so it's a lot lower. Now, if you can look there, and look at that for the seat, and then down here that's for, whoa, so that's for the pillion rider, and that's for the rider. So Beth feels that she's stuck right up in the air looking over my head, which is true. Now all of these fittings are all beautiful here. They're all molded some kind of alloy metal. Now this little doodad here, see this? See? Now this little unit is, I don't know what they officially call it, but it's a kick down without having to use the choke. I'm sorry, without having to use the clutch. I flipped back again 100 years to when bikes had a choke. See, so you don't actually have to use that. If you can be in top gear and you can see something ahead which you're going to have to stop quickly for, and you can just kick down. So it's just a matter of push, 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 and it changes gear without having to clutch. So I use that a lot. I can't quite get used to not using the clutch at all, so I tend to find my hand on the clutch, but it's really very good. Now what I was trying to say before, here where you've got track, let's see if it can come up. Yeah, there you've got street, and then you've got, I think it looks like deer or gear. Now what it does is it allows you, there's a computer, there's an onboard computer, and it's down here. Whether you can see that. Down there is a little switch, and that will give you different readings on the speedo. So you can go on a track, you can do your laps, and doing the laps you can record them on here. It's the same actually as on my Raptor, that you can record all kinds of data that you might be very interested in, like your average speed, what your top speed was, bottom speed, average speed, and how long the lap took you, and it would all come up on here. Absolutely useless to me, but it's cool to be able to tell somebody, oh yes, you could go on the track with this, you know. But anyway, everything else I just find a pleasure to look at. As I said, all of these fittings look in the silver, and they're all molded in one, and very, very nicely made, I think. So brake, and the fluids are all in a good place. That would be the brake fluid. There's a little tiny place there for putting in the new oil. As I said, it's got ABS brakes. It brakes incredibly well. You got to understand that my last bike was a Kawasaki about 15 years ago, and it was a dirt bike. But compared to this bike, it was a dinosaur. A little bit like the little red truck was, well, a little Matchbox toy compared to our Raptor. See, but anyway, has big tire on the back, a smaller one on the front, different pressures that you put on there. It doesn't have a center stand. Sometimes I think I would like that, like I'd like to have put it on a center stand for doing this review, but I tried it with this rock. I put the rock under there, and then when I went to sit on the bike to do my Mr. Cool on the video, the bike nearly went over to the left, to the right instead of this side. So I kicked the rock away, and I went the old-fashioned way, which is just to leave it on the stand. So it doesn't have a center stand, and I wish that it did. What do I wish was different? I guess now that I'm used to it, I could actually use more power. I really could. As I said, I'm not a boy racer, but I would have liked the power a little bit more. This is a 150. Now, here's where reality check comes in. I went on my many visits to Yamaha, the dealership where I got the bike. I went there and they had a bike that looked exactly like this. Well, not exactly, but close enough. And it was a 350. But boy, it weighed so much more than this, and the price was incredible. Up in the hundreds of thousands of pesos. I think it was up close around 500,000 or 600,000, which would be completely insane, as this is just fine for me. So that's my lovely bike. I hope you've enjoyed looking at it and knowing a little bit more. As I said, it's a lovely bike. I noticed after I had been riding for a little while that the Yamaha logo consists of 3 tuning forks, which is pretty cool, I thought. You can see the assembly at the front here. It's just so very nicely done. It really is. The headlights, everything is built in. Always you have the lights on, but of course they're on dip and everything. I really would recommend it. It's a bike I would recommend, but of course it's not for using in the Filipino way. In the Filipino way, bikes, they must be able to carry 3 or 4 people, and other than one of our students, Angie, that I took home from once from the house, Beth is the only one, I think, maybe Talik, a very short trip, and that's it. I don't take anybody else, and because of that you can see that I've got my bag, which is not made for this bike. I've got it pretty well packed on there and sealed with the plastic ties. Okay, well, it's going to be raining. It is raining, as you can see, and it will get very, very noisy, so I'll let you go. I want to thank everybody who has been sharing our videos, because now, in spite of all the worst that YouTube can do, we seem to be getting back into the saddle and being seen a lot now. So please make sure that you haven't been unsubscribed if you've been away for a while. If you have been away for a while, we're very glad that you're back. Welcome. And if you have anything that you really want us to know and make a suggestion on, then please do comment and it will be returned. Okay, I'm wobbling away. Bye for now.